Now, welcome for the next unit, that is unit number 5, water resources management in India and Maharashtra. Okay, water resources development in India and Maharashtra, and what is their status and why it is required to go for the water resources development, not only in the Maharashtra or not only in the some of the regions of our country, but as a whole, that is a whole India, why it is required to be there in, and which type of the which type of the development projects are undertaken by the government or they are in the view of the government. Okay, and which are undergoing, that we are going to discuss in this unit. Okay, so the syllabus, that is so much syllabus is there. That is a national water policy of the India, water policy of the Maharashtra, state development of irrigation potential through the 5 years plans, water resources potential of India, water resource development in India, problems in water resource development in country and Maharashtra state. Then interbasin transfer of the water, it is a concept of interbasin transfer of the water, it is interlinking of the rivers we used to say about. Proposed interbasin transfer of water from surplus irrigation of the India to the deficient regions of the India. National Prospective Plan of India, Himalayan rivers component and Himalayan rivers component and a peninsular river component. That is the National Prospective Plan of the India. Those two plans in detail we are going to discuss now. Okay. So the firstly, it is the water constitutional provisions. काय आहेत आपल्यातल्या? So as per the constitutional, there are 3 subjects list performed by the union, state and both. Okay, union and the state both. That is, union list about the 100 items, whereas the state list about 61 items, and concurrent list is about the 52 items. The union list is about the regulation and the development of the interstate rivers and the river valleys, to the extent to which such regulation and development under the control of the union is declared by the parliament by the law to be expedient in the public interest. म्हणजे हे जे काय आहे पार्लमेंट मध्ये जे काही रूल्स पास केलेत युनियन लिस्ट त्याच्यामध्ये येतं. Item number 7 is about the water that is to be water supply, irrigation and canals, drainage and embankments. म्हणजे याच्या अंडर कोण कोण येते बघा आयटम नंबर 17 च्या अंडर. तर water supply, irrigation canals, drainage and embankments, water storage structures, water power stations. They are subject to the provision of the entry of the 56 of the union list, that is central list, 56 items. Then water is a subject of the state government as per our constitution of a legislation section. म्हणजे पाणी हा जो विषय आहे, that is a part of the state government as per their constitution. Now this talks about then a national water policy and a state government water policy. National water policy काय म्हणते किंवा state water policy काय म्हणते की we have to give an first priority for the use of the water or the application of the water, that is for the drinking. Means the first priority as per the national water policy is given for the drinking purpose. Then we used to have, and as per the requirement or as per the need in that locality, it is either for the irrigation or the hydropower or the any other allied things that talks about, and those things are covered in the national water policy. Means those are the highlights we can say of the national water policy. So why to go for such type of the water budgeting and then interlinking of the rivers, interbasin transfer, etc., etc. So if you have some highlight over the existing things, then we are having the floods and drought at a time. बऱ्याच वेळा आपल्याकडे आपल्या काही स्टेट मध्ये पूर आलेला असतो आणि काही स्टेट मध्ये दुष्काळ असतो. गेल्या वर्षी जर का आपण एक्झाम्पल घेतलं तर कोल्हापूर सांगली साईडला खूप मोठा पूर आला होता आणि आपल्याकडे काही रिजन्स असे होते की तिथं ड्रॉट होता, नो रेनफॉल वॉज देयर. अशी कंडिशन आपल्याकडे एक्झिस्टिंग आहे, बरोबर. मग यांचा बॅलन्स करायचा आपल्याला. जिथं ड्रॉट आहे तिथं पाणी आणायचं आहे आणि जिथं फ्लड आहे तिथलं पाणी आपल्याला कमी करायचं आहे. म्हणजे पुराच्या ठिकाणचं पाणी आपल्याला दुष्काळाच्या ठिकाणी आणायचं आहे. फॉर दॅट पर्पज we had a national water policy, and the government has overtaken the project of the interlinking of the basins. बेसिन म्हणजे काय, कुठलं बेसिन, ज्या नदीच्या पात्रामध्ये ज्या बेसिन मध्ये जास्त पाणी फ्लड आहे तिथलं पाणी ज्या नदीमध्ये पाणी नाही आहे, कोरडी नदी आहे, त्या नदीमध्ये ते ट्रान्सफर करायचं आहे. दुसरा महत्वाचा हायलाइटिंग पॉइंट असा आहे की ॲव्हरेज रेनफॉल इज अबाउट 1000 to 1200 मिलीमीटर ऑल ओव्हर इंडिया. बट Some of the region used to get only 100 to the 250 millimeters of the rain during throughout the year, we can say. And some of the regions we used to get and so high quantity of the rainfall in a so less time interval, which results in peak floods and damage to the property and lives at a greater extent. Whereas where there is a so less quantity of the rainfall, there that people used to suffer from the deficiency of the water. They can't go for the farming, they can't get water for drinking, etc., etc. It results in a totally drought condition. So to have and that or to modify those effects means to reduce the effect of the drought and to overcome the flood conditions, we need to go for the interbasin transfer of the water. Then if you consider the rainfall, then it's used to vary. It used to show 100 millimeters at some places and thousands of the 10,000s of the millimeters at some of the places. This is an erratic condition of the rainfall which is occurring in India, we can say. आपल्याकडे जो पडणारा पाऊस आहे काही ठिकाणी फक्त 100 मिलीमीटरच राहतो, तर काही ठिकाणी 10,000 मिलीमीटर पर्यंत पाऊस पडतो. म्हणजे काही ठिकाणी एवढा मोठा दुष्काळ पडतो की तिथं प्यायला पाणी नसतं, काही ठिकाणी एवढा पाऊस पडतो की तिथं कोरडी जमीन नसते, म्हणजे पूर्णपणे फ्लड रिजन होतो. 1/3 area is a drought prone, whereas 1/8 area is a flood prone, and we want to have a balance between them. We don't want to have a flood, we don't want to have a drought. We want to have a balanced condition. To maintain that balanced condition, we need to go for the transfer of the water from the abundant to the where it is not there. If you consider the requirement of the water of a human being, it is about 50 to 150 liters per day. And we are knowing that water can't be manufactured. It means that we have to conserve, we have to store, and we have to utilize the rainfall precisely. So owing to this, by considering those many parameters, we have different sections like that, and one of that is interlinking of the major rivers in India. That is the interbasin transfer of the water. If you talk about then a basic water budget, then expected population in 2050 is about 160 crores. 2050 ची जर का आपण expected population बघितलं ते about 160 crores आहे. Food requirement about 500 million tons आहे. Agriculture water requirement in billion meter cube BCM जर का आपण बघितलं, that is about 1450 BCM. Total precipitation जर का बघितलं आपण तर 4000 आहे BCM, and total fresh water is about 1869 billion cubic meter. Utilizable quantity जर आपण बघितल्या सरफेस सोर्स मधला फक्त 690 आहे, सस्टेनेबल वॉटर 432 आहे, म्हणजे about 1122 billion cubic meter आहे, and we are deficient about 328 billion cubic meter. एवढी आपल्याकडे deficiency वाटरची. So to have or to overcome that deficiency or to cope up with the that expected population or the requirement of the expected population, water requirement, we can say, we need to have a proper practices. Okay, so for that purpose, the first if you consider the rainfall regions here, in the rainfall region is shown here this Rajasthan, some part of the Gujarat, then some part of the Maharashtra, it is to receive less than 500 millimeters of the rainfall. Some part of the Gujarat, Rajasthan, above that Haryana is also there in. They used to get about 500 to 750 millimeters of the rainfall. Then some part of the Maharashtra, then here Tamil Nadu, Kerala, etc. Here Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, UP is there in Punjab, Haryana. They used to get about 750 to thousands millimeters of the rainfall. 1000 to 1500 millimeters of rainfall. Here we are observing some part of the Maharashtra, Mumbai, etc. We are getting there in. Then here of Tamil Nadu, then UP, okay, some part of the nearby the Sikkim, etc. There, then West Bengal. Okay, here we are getting about 1000 to 1500. Then 1500 to 2500. This belt here, where it is this one. Okay, some part of the Assam, etc. Maharashtra, Goa, Kerala. they are in the belt of the 1500 to 2500 millimeters, and rest those are getting abundant quantity of the rainfall. It is more than 2500 millimeters, so high rainfall. That is the coastal region, Goa, Konkan. Then here the belt of the Assam, Meghalaya. Okay, those regions used to receive more than 2500 millimeter upper rainfall. This is so huge quantity of the rainfall they used to receive, and we want to have the balance between that 500 and that 2500. 500 आणि 2500, 5 पट पाऊस इकडे जास्त पडतोय, त्याच्या 5 पट इकडे कमी पडतोय. So less or scarcity of the water is there and abundant quantity of the water is there. We want to maintain the balance over there. So to have that balance, the firstly, that is Dr. K.L. Rao's Ganga Kaveri linking project was came into picture. So firstly, we are discussing about that one, Ganga Kaveri linking project. म्हणजे गंगा आणि कावेरी या दोन नद्यांना जोडण्याचा प्रकल्प डॉक्टर के.एल. राव यांनी पहिला प्रपोज केला. Here, this is the belt which shows here the linking of the Ganga and Kaveri. Here we are talking about. This indicates the international boundaries outside. We are not interested in that. This is a Ganga Kaveri link that is shown by the continuous line. This one. Okay, those are the rivers. Krishna, here Krishna river is there. So many rivers you will find over here. In here, there is a Bihar राज्य दिलेलं आहे, महाराष्ट्र, मध्य प्रदेश आहे इकडं. ओके, भोपाळ आहे, वेगवेगळे लोकेशन दाखवलेत. दिस इज द अनदर रिव्हर, तापी आहे बघा ही. ओके, दिस इज द तापी रिव्हर, कृष्णा. ओके, अल्टिमेटली हियर इज अ गंगा. बरोबर, ही गंगा नदी झाली. इकडं कावेरी आहे. And if you are going to connect those rivers, two rivers, main rivers, then the middle belt will be get benefited from the water. त्याला पाणी मिळेल मधल्या बेल्टला, आणि जिथं इथं जास्त क्वांटिटी होती ती क्वांटिटी पाण्याची जी फ्लड होता, that flood will be reduced and this drought prone area will be get benefited. Ultimately again that a abundant quantity will be get transported towards the, or it will be get connected to the ocean. So the Dr. K.L. Rao has proposed the Ganga Kaveri linkage project. Ganga Kaveri linkage project hota, that was produced by or given by the K.L. Rao, Dr. K.L. Rao. Highlights of that project are, it links the Ganga and Kaveri river, okay, and about by the canal about 2640 kilometers, 2640 किलोमीटरचा एवढा कॅनल घेऊन त्या कॅनलने या दोन नद्या एकमेकांना जोडता येत होत्या. It requires the pumping of about 1500 cubic of water over a head of 550 meters. 550 मीटरच्या हेडवरती 1400 क्युबिक एवढं क्वांटिटी लिफ्ट करावी लागते. Irrigation development is about the 400 million hectares. Benefited area for the irrigation is about 4000 million hectares. No flood control benefits, म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये फ्लड कंट्रोलचा बेनिफिट नाही आहे, परंतु इरिगेशनचा बेनिफिट होणार आहे. जसं मी पाठीमागे म्हटलं की फ्लड कंट्रोल होईल, बट this is not the case for this linking. Cost estimated was about 125 billions in 1972. ओके, 1972 मध्ये 125 बिलियन एवढी कॉस्ट होती. 2002 ला त्याची कॉस्ट होती ती 1500 बिलियन्स होती. कॉस्ट ऑफ पंपिंग पर इयर for that 1500 cubic water is about 5500 crores, and large power input was required. It is about 5000 to 7000 megawatts. Okay, and who was that Dr. K.L. Rao? Dr. K.L. Rao is a renowned water resources engineer, and the scheme was sound in a hydraulic manner. Okay, then next one is the Captain Dustus Garland Canal System. पुढची जी स्कीम जी आली ती म्हणजे that was put forward by the Captain Dustus. Okay, it was also called as the Garland Canal. It is here, that is shown over here. This is a Garland Canal here. Okay, this is about continuous line आहे. This is the Garland Canal, and this is the line connecting. This is the connecting to which Himalayan Canal. हा हिमालयन कॅनल आहे त्यांच्या प्रपोज्ड स्कीम प्रमाणे, which used to run parallel to the or in the nearby regions of the Himalaya like this, and it used to connect to the Garland Canal, which used to connect the number of the states. Okay, number of the states from the country. Okay, the highlights of the scheme which is proposed by the Captain Dastur is about 4,200 kilometer long Himalayan canal with 90 lakes in between at about the 400 meter constant elevation. त्यांच्या स्कीम प्रमाणे काय होतं, 4,200 किलोमीटर लांबीचा हिमालयन टेरेन मधलं कॅनल होता आणि त्याच्यावरती जवळपास 90 असे छोटे छोटे लेक्स होते, रिझर्वायर्स होते इन बिटवीन ऍट अबाउट 400 मीटर कॉन्स्टंट इलेव्हेशन. 400 मीटरचा इलेव्हेशन डिफरन्स मध्ये तेव्हा आपल्याला 4,200 किलोमीटरचा लॉंग कॅनल त्यांनी प्रपोज केला होता. 9,300 kilometer long Garland Canal with 200 lakes at about 300 meters constant elevation. He has proposed the Garland Canal. Both the canals are interconnected by the pipelines near Delhi and Patna. Here we are finding this is near the Delhi and this is near Patna. Both of them he has proposed that will be get connected by the pipelines, okay, near the Delhi and near the Patna. Okay, and cost is about 241 billions in 1977. Okay, and now present price is about the 7,00,000 billion at present price level, but that was before 2 years. Then the scheme was unsound in basic hydraulics because it was not possible to construct the connect those two canals by the pipelines and to have the canals at a 400-meter constant elevation in Himalaya and at a elevation of 300 meters for 9,300 kilometers as a Garland Canal. Okay, committees of the experts found to be proposed the technical infeasible. त्याची जी स्कीम होती ती इनफिजिबल असं सांगून दिलं होतं कमिटीने, टेक्निकल कमिटीने. Then next one is the Himalayan component of the rivers. Himalayan component of the rivers means those rivers are there in a Himalayan terrain. The proposed interlinking of those rivers is nothing but the Himalayan component of the rivers. Total 14 links are there. Total 14 link होत्या दाखवत बघा. 1 2 likewise here 4 is there, 5 is there. Okay, this is the 5, this 7, then 8, 9, 12, 11, 12, 13 and 14. Those 14 links are proposed in the Himalayan component. जो Himalayan component म्हणजे वरच्या साईडचा पट्टा आहे उत्तर north region madla, that's above and a Himalayan component. Okay, so dams on tributaries of the Ganga and the Brahmaputra in India, Nepal and Bhutan as per the Himalayan component, but they proposed to have an dams on the various rivers in the India, okay, and Nepal and Bhutan on the Ganga and Brahmaputra, दोन नद्यांवरती गंगा आणि ब्रह्मपुत्रा नदीवरती. Linkage if you are talking about, it is to about the Brahmaputra, Ganga, Mahanadi. We'll see that in a next slide. Then interlinking I have shown over here. Name of the links in the Himalayan component. Total 14 link. First link is about Brahmaputra and Ganga. It is also called as MCTG. Kosi and Ghagra. Then Gandak and Ganga. Ghagra and Yamuna. Sarda Yamuna. Yamuna, Rajasthan. For example, firstly we'll go for the first link. Brahmaputra and Ganga. Here we are finding that first one. First link. Ganga river is there. Okay. This is the Ganga. And here Brahmaputra is there in Assam. Where is it? It might be by the dotted line they had shown over here. Yeah. Brahmaputra आणि Ganga. या दोघांचं इथं इंटरकनेक्शन आहे. इथं आपण बघतोय. This is the Gandak. Okay. This is the Karnali. This is the Sarda. This is the Yamuna river. So different rivers are shown over here. Okay. Subendra Rekha, then Barak, okay, Brahmaputra. This is the Brahmaputra here. This is shown over here. Interlinking of the Brahmaputra and Ganga I had shown over there. Okay. Likewise, about 14 links are proposed. 14 links are proposed in the Himalayan component. Then for the peninsular means nearby the coastal region. Okay, nearby the समुद्र सपाटीच्या ठिकाणी किंवा समुद्र कडाच्या साइडची जो पट्टा असतो त्याला आपण पेनिन्सुलर कंपाउंड म्हणतो. So rivers those are proposed to be connected to each other in and that peninsular component they are about 16 नद्या आहेत. So main thing was that is to connect the Mahanadi and Godavari and surplus to the deficient. म्हणजे महानदी आणि गोदावरी नदी दोन्ही एकमेकांना कनेक्ट करायच्या आणि त्याच्या थ्रू जे काही सरप्लस वॉटर आहे that surplus water will be get diverted towards the rivers those are coming in between, okay, by the canals or by the directly having an tunnels etc etc. So as per this the links those are given to us, those are the Mahanadi Godavari main branch, Godavari Krishna, then Godavari Krishna that is a Ichampalli Nagarjun Sagar. नागार्जुन सागर म्हणजे आपला जे रिझर्व आहे रिझर्वाची नाव दिलेली आहेत, बेसिन ट्रान्सफर आहे. गोदावरी दॅट इज फ्रॉम पोलवरम टू द कृष्णा दॅट इज अ विजयवाडा, कृष्णा अलमट्टी, अलमट्टी धरणापासून रिझर्व पासून ते पेन्नार, कृष्णा फ्रॉम श्रीशैलम टू दी पेन्नार, कृष्णा फ्रॉम नागार्जुन सागर टू दी पेन्नार दॅट इज अ सोमशिला, then pennar from the somsila to the Kaveri that is a grand anicut, then Kaveri from the Kattalai to the Vaigai, and then Vaigai to the Gundar. Okay, then Ken Betwa project might be you are aware about, mostly heard word that is Ken Betwa, then Parvati, Kailasind, then Chambal, then Par, Tapi and Narmada, then Damanganga and Pinjal, Bedti and Varda, then Netravati and Hemavati, then Pamba, Achankovil and Vaipar. Those are the proposed links of the basin transfer or the interlinking of the rivers. म्हणजे एका नदीमधून एका रिझर्वायर पासून दुसऱ्या रिझर्वायरला किंवा दुसऱ्या नदीला कनेक्ट करण्याच्या ह्या टोटल 30 links आहेत. Those are total main 16 links are there, but in between those we used to have an additional that is a 30 links. Those are for the peninsular component. Why we require to have that interlinking of the rivers or inter-basin transfer of the water rather, that is to cope up with the flood condition and the drought condition. That is the main motive behind that. And for that purpose, the government of the India, central government and the government, state governments put forth various policies, national water policies they have put forth. Okay. Then main benefits from the Himalayan components. So benefits those are there from the Himalayan component. Those are about 22 million hectares of additional irrigation will be achieved from the Himalayan component. जे हिमालयामध्ये ज्या नद्या आहेत त्या जर एकमेकांना जोडल्या तर जवळपास 22 मिलियन हेक्टर पुढे ऍडिशनल इरिगेशन होणार आहे. 30 मिलियन किलोवॅट ऑफ द पॉवर जनरेशन ऍडिशनल होणार आहे, इन्क्लुडिंग फ्रॉम द डॅम प्रपोज इन नेपाळ अँड भूटान. Advantage of the flow of the Faraka, flows at Faraka. Then drought mitigation to some extent in the state of the West Bengal, Bihar, UP, Haryana, Rajasthan, Jharkhand and Gujarat. Then flood control to the some extent in the Ganga and Brahmaputra basins. So those are the additional benefits those we are getting from the Himalayan component. Whereas for the peninsular component, the main benefits from the peninsular component, that is about 13 million hectares of additional irrigation will be achieved if we will have the peninsular component as interconnected to each other. Then about 4 megawatt of the power generation. Then drought mitigation to the some extent in the state of the Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Madhya Pradesh. Flood control to some extent in the Mahanadi and the Godavari basin. तिथलं पाणी आपण डायव्हर्ट करतो इकडे, बरोबर का? त्याच्यामुळे काय होणार आहे, we will be able to have an flood relief in up to some extent. The costs and all those things are proposed over here, okay, but I'm not going to details of that. Then regarding this scheme, that all the information is available on the public domain. We will go for the cost. Major issue regarding the, not the cost, major issues related to that winter basin transfer is about, at 2002 the price level was about 5,600 crores. Then it consumes among a co-basin states has to be reached for a transfer of a surplus water. एक राज्य दुसऱ्या राज्याला पाणी देत नाहीये, हे आपल्याकडची अडचण आहे. मग ते त्यांनी बरोबर तो ट्रान्सफर म्हणजे ते काय म्हणतात त्याला, that should be get resolved. That is the issue. Construction of the dams in India, Nepal and Bhutan requiring international agreements. म्हणजे जर का आपण ब्रह्मपुत्रा नदीवरती जर का बघितलं तर that runs from the Nepal, Bhutan also on India. If they are going to construct the dams, then we will not get the water. Likewise, the condition is that. So for that, we need to have an agreement from the international bodies. Then construction of the dams involve environmental issues like submergence of a forest, then land habitations, etc., etc. It is also another one major issue. Then Manas, Sankosh, and Tista Ganga link passes through the Tiger reserve and Tiger Reserve and reserved forest. ही जी लिंक आहे कोणती मानस संकोच तिस्ता आणि गंगा ही जी लिंक जर का आपण कनेक्ट करायचं म्हटलं तर तो इंटरलिंकिंगचा जो प्रोजेक्ट आहे किंवा जो कॅनल इंटरलिंक होणार आहे that runs to the forest which is reserved for the tigers. मग जर का त्या टायगर रिझर्व फॉरेस्ट मध्ये जायचं म्हटलं देर विल बी द इश्यू विथ दॅट. ओके, बऱ्याच वेळा काय होतं की एन्व्हायरमेंट मध्ये जो तो म्हणजे इट विल बी अँड व्हॉट वी कॅन से a barrier, one sort of barrier for the tigers and for the human beings also. Then rehabilitation and resettlement of the project affected people. Most affecting persons, most what we can say critical issue is about that the rehabilitation of those peoples. Those are getting affected by that projects. हा जर का प्रोजेक्ट आपण घेतला तर त्याच्यामध्ये भरपूर साऱ्या लोकांचं पुनर्वसन करणं गरजेचं ठरणार आहे आणि इट इज अ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड इश्यू. Then acquisition of the land for the long and wide canals. मोठे जर का कॅनल्स आपण बघितले तर त्यासाठी आपल्याला खूप मोठ्या प्रमाणामध्ये लँड अक्वायर करावं लागते. फॉर दॅट पर्पज द गव्हर्नमेंट नीड टू पे or government need to spend large amount of the money over that. Those are the major issues related to the interlinking of the basin. Then all this information is available in the public domain also. It has appeared in the print media also. It is available on the internet also. It is discussed in the various forms in several seminars, workshops, etc., etc. It is about the national water policy, interlinking of the basins, etc., etc. Okay. Then about the national water policies. The first national water policy came in picture in 1987, where the main motto was water for all. त्या पॉलिसीचा मेन पॉलिसी काय होती water for all. And this was a first national water policy that was in 1987. Second was in 2002. Okay, and in that the water is a national asset. In that the main policy or the statement about the water was water is a national asset. पहिल्या पॉलिसीमध्ये काय होतं की वॉटर फॉर ऑल रिवाइज केली 2002 मध्ये. त्याच्यामध्ये भरपूर सारे सेगमेंट्स होते. आय एम जस्ट हायलाइटिंग सम ऑफ द पॉइंट्स ओव्हर हियर. मेन हायलाइट्स. इट इज अ वॉटर is a national asset and we have to use it precisely. Okay, then it was revised again in 2012 and in which the water a national asset, but it is revised national water policy. And the main highlights we can see of the national water policy is that firstly we have to give the priority for the drinking and then for the allied things as per the requirement. Okay, this is about the our last unit which was remained to be discussed in our regular syllabus. Okay, so here our total syllabus gets ends. Okay, thank you.